Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where I will be showing you what your academic requirements report is. My name is Meg Austin and I am an academic advisor here at CSUMB. So first we're going to start off by logging into your dashboard to be able to access OASIS because that's where you're going to find your academic requirements report. So click login at the top of any CSUMB page to get into our dashboard. Enter our Auto ID and password. And then we are in our dashboard. So from here, we will go ahead and click OASIS, which will take us to your OASIS Student Center. From here, you should see a drop-down menu on the left-hand side under your academics heading. Click that and select Academic Requirements, and then hit the double arrow. You'll see a cog in the top right-hand corner spinning. That means it's working and that it'll take a couple seconds for it to load. So this is your academic requirements report. So at the top, what basically your academic requirements report is your own personalized checklist of everything you have to do to graduate. So at the top, it'll list what your major is, what your concentration is if you have one in your major, what your catalog year is, what your academic standing is, and then your overall and CSUMB GPAs. Let's talk about what your catalog year is for a second. So Monty Ray is started here at CSUMB in fall 2018. So your catalog year is assigned to you the year that you start at CSUMB. So if you start in fall 2019, then that means you are basically responsible to complete the requirements that were in place at that time and that fall 2019, spring 2020 academic year. Catalog requirements can change over time, so that's why we have catalog rights. So even if the biology major or whatever major you have declared changes over the course of your time here, you are just still set to complete the requirements that were in place in the year you started. There are a couple instances where you can change your catalog year, but you can talk more about that with your academic advisor if that ever comes up. So as we scroll down, we'll begin to see the big list of everything that is required to complete to graduate. So it starts off by listing all of the general education requirements. As you can see, you'll see a list of each one here, and also whether or not it's completed is indicated with either a green check mark, which means it is completed, or a yellow diamond, which means it's in progress, or a red box, which means it's not fulfilled yet. To see what class you use to fulfill a certain requirement, you can just click the expand arrow. And you will see here that Monty came in as a transfer student, so he fulfilled the oral and written communication A1 GE with transfer credit, which is indicated with this arrow here. So if you did complete a requirement with transfer credit, then it'll say so by having an arrow here listed underneath that requirement. You can also see what grade you earned, when you completed it, and what the class was. So let's scroll down. So you can see a long list of all the GE requirements. So it looks like Monty still has not fulfilled the E area GE requirement, which you can see here by it being red. And usually if the requirement is red, it'll automatically list all of the available classes at CSUMB that you can take to fulfill this particular requirement. A lot of times students take classes, especially transfer students, fulfill requirements with transfer credit. So you can also talk to your academic advisor if you have questions about fulfilling a certain GE requirement or other requirement with transfer credit. There's also another place in your OASIS Student Center where you can see how your transfer credit came in, and it's in the transfer credit report, which is in the same drop-down menu I used to get to your academic requirements report, but just click the transfer credit report, and you can see a detailed overview of how your transfer credit, as well as AP credit for any freshmen coming in with AP scores, or transfer students coming in with AP scores. You can see how your AP credit transfers in there as well. Okay, so as we continue down, it'll list several university requirements. So Monty has fulfilled some of these already. And so basically the first half of the report is GE. Then the middle section is university requirements and unit counts, which I'll talk more about that in a second. And then the final half of the requirements report is your major requirements. So Monty, in this case, is a biology major. And so it lists every single requirement that he has to complete in the biology program in his catalog year. So Monty has done several of his requirements already, but still has some to do. So same thing, indicated with either a green check mark if it's completed. Oops, scroll back down here. A yellow diamond if it's in progress, and red box if it still has not been fulfilled yet. Let's go back to the unit section because that is an important part to cover. So minimum CSUMB unit requirements. So every student has to fulfill a certain amount of units to graduate. Every student has to complete at least 120 units to graduate. 40 of those units need to be upper division. And also a certain number of upper division units need to be completed in residence. So here at CSUMB. Another important thing to note is that every student has to fulfill 9 units of upper division GE credit before they graduate as well. And that's indicated right here, right above the total undergraduate unit section. So if we go to the very bottom, past the major requirements, and also if you have declared a minor, your minor requirements will show up at the very bottom of this academic requirements report as well. So that's another way to keep track of your minor requirements if you decide to add a minor. But what I wanted to show you is your major GPA. So a lot of times students want to know what their GPA is in their major. At the top, if you remember, we showed you where your overall and CSUMB GPA is, but this is where you can go to see what your GPA is in your major courses. If you have fulfilled a requirement, but you still see it as red on your academic requirements report, be sure to check in with your academic advisor because it could be that you completed this course with transfer credit and it's not appearing yet, or it needs to be a course substitution needs to happen in order for it to count in that area. So this most often happens with GE credit. But it can happen with major requirements as well. So if you do notice any red boxes on your academic requirements report that seem out of place, then just be sure to check in with your academic advisor because that's what we're here to help answer questions too as well. So that's an overview of what your academic requirements report is. Again, if you ever have any questions about it, we know it's a long report, but it's a great resource to look at a continuously updating academic requirements page to see what you have to do to graduate. And again, if you see anything that looks off, then be sure to reach out to your academic advisor for any help with this report. Have a wonderful day.